1. Pride, the walking trophy cabinet, the person at every party who won't stop talking about how amazing they are. Pride is believing you're too fabulous for words, and everyone else should thank their lucky stars you exist. It's putting a giant inflatable ego on your head and parading around expecting applause. You're the protagonist in a movie where everyone else is just an extra, the star of a show that only exists because you exist. But here's why this tops the deadly sins list. It blinds you to every weakness and flaw. Pride turns friendships into competitions. It makes you stomp on others to keep your pedestal polished. You become overconfident, believing nothing can hurt you, until you fall. And when you do, double the pride, twice the fall. It's a one-way ticket to social isolation and a seriously bruised ego. Pride doesn't just make you annoying, it sets you up for the hardest crashes. 2. Envy, the green-eyed monster that turns you grumpy over someone else's sparkly outfit. You're at a work event in your favorite t-shirt feeling like a potato, while your coworker shines like a diamond. Suddenly you want to throw chips at them and shout, "How dare you look better than me?" That's envy, the sneaky gremlin whispering, "Why should they have all the fun? What about me?" It's the inner critic who never learned to share and thinks life's a giant competition. Envy doesn't just target glittering things either. It can be as petty as wanting your neighbor's new car instead of your beat-up box. When envy strikes, everyone else's life looks like a luxury heist while yours feels pickpocketed. You might even start fantasizing about stealing success, breaking laws for it. Soon you're robbing yourself of peace and happiness, too busy daydreaming about Elon Musk's wealth to appreciate what you actually have. And here's what makes these sins so deadly. They don't just destroy you once, they're slow-cooking disasters that build over time, turning minor character flaws into life-wrecking monsters. From rage that blinds you to reason, to laziness that puts your dreams on permanent pause, these sins share one thing. They all promise satisfaction, but deliver misery. So let's keep going through the list. 3. Wrath, that explosive family member who throws tantrums out of nowhere. Wrath is rage's high-octane cousin who thinks calmly discussing differences is for the weak. These are the people who believe shouting at the TV during sports games is an Olympic sport. It's that feeling when you're cut off in traffic and your inner Hulk screams, "Time to smash!" Wrath makes you skip the cool head part entirely. When it gets involved, diplomacy takes a vacation and chaos checks in. This sin is dangerous because it blinds you to reason, like a foghorn drowning out any calm, rational thought. It's not just anger. It's turning that anger into a full-blown storm that leaves everything around you chaotic. Wrath insists on playing the lead role in every argument, turning manageable situations into messes you'll spend weeks cleaning up. 4. Sloth, not just hating the gym. Sloth whispers in your ear to sleep through your alarm and skip everything that matters. It's that charmingly lazy character with a snack and blanket, wanting to do nothing. But don't be fooled by the cozy exterior. Sloth isn't about Netflix marathons. It's chronic avoidance of anything meaningful. Wake up, eat, do nothing, sleep. That is, if you actually get out of bed. Sloth isn't physical, it's a mindset. That malaise settling in when you're asked to contribute. The "I'll get to it tomorrow" that stretches into infinity. Sloth is the slow cooker of bad habits. Procrastination becomes your BFF, turning to-do lists into done lists of nothing. It's putting your dreams on cruise control with no brakes. Spiritually sluggish, the slothful person stays in their comfort zone, heart and mind stuck in neutral, missing every chance to grow or make a difference. 5. Greed, the unquenchable thirst that makes Scrooge McDuck look like a minimalist. When you want more than what you need, more money, more power, more everything, that's greed. A bottomless pit where no matter how much you pour in, it's never enough. That annoying friend always trying to outdo everyone. You mention a promotion, they brag about 5 promotions and a yacht. Greed makes you believe you need a bigger house, fancier car, and personal butler just to feel satisfied. It's not about competition, it's about wanting everything and leaving tiny islands for the remaining 7.8 billion people. The worst part? You'll never feel content. Greed turns you into a money-hungry monster, always chasing more and never satisfied. This endless craving makes you forget people around you, leaving relationships empty and in the red. It robs you of happiness, leaving only a bankruptcy of joy. You'll die realizing not even $50 billion was enough. 6. Gluttony. You're at a buffet enjoying yourself, going for seconds. Then a voice whispers, "Round 3. Soon you've gone 10 rounds without feeling full. That voice is gluttony, the friend who doesn't just sample every dish, but refills their plate into a mountain of mashed potatoes. But it's more than overeating. Gluttony is treating food like your new best friend, one you'll spend every waking moment with. Gluttony reaches its worst when you stop caring about others. You're the 500-pound guy eating an entire tray of lasagna, leaving nothing for the family. Soon you're dying of a heart attack or suffering diabetes, with only your excessive food love to blame. This hoarding mentality transcends food, consuming too much media, binge-watching every Netflix show, being excessive with sexual desires. Gluttony represents pleasure gone wild. You're a pleasure slave, whether it's food, media, or endless massages, letting excess take over everything. 7. Lust. Every cheating spouse movie exists because of lust, desire gone completely wild, the teenage rebel of deadly sins, always craving worldly pleasures and giving in to them. This sin is intense, uncontrollable longing. If you've obsessively fixated on the last pizza slice, you've met lust's distant cousin. But lust isn't interested in pizza. It wants everything else you could desire, especially sex and power. Lust is that overzealous Cupid with a terrible reputation for forming healthy relationships. It distracts you from genuine connections, forcing you on quests for instant gratification, that big O from a night out with someone hot at the bar. The problem? Lust is the gatecrasher of virtue. It knows how to turn your morals inside out, making way for your deepest desires. Sure, maybe that pleasurable night is okay, but not at your wife's expense. When STDs are eating through you, cheating becomes the least of your worries. Lust pushes you to step over everyone climbing the corporate or political ladder. Combined with gluttony and greed, you're wearing a t-shirt that says, "I want everything." 8. Vanity. The human equivalent of a selfie stick. Vanity makes you so obsessed with looks or status that you'd put a peacock to shame. That person in the restaurant constantly checking their reflection on every shiny surface. Spoons, windows, even someone's glasses. You think you're a walking art piece that belongs in a museum. Vanity isn't enjoying compliments. It's needing them like a never-ending battery of external praise, powering your self-esteem. You need validation from others. It's not just admiring yourself in mirrors. It's feeling like you have a personal fan club following you everywhere. In medieval times, it was deadly because it made people forget humility. Imagine taking an Instagram star to the 1500s, instant embodiment of vanity. The problem comes when you turn self-love into a full-time job, hogging the spotlight without noticing there's a world beyond your reflection. Chasing endless self-approval turns you into a selfie-absorbed mess. 9. Neglect. You promise to bring snacks to the camping trip, but show up empty-handed. Everyone's sitting around a bonfire with no s'mores, realizing campfire stories don't fill stomachs. That's neglect. The villain in disguise nobody notices until it piles up and brings down all its problems, making you wonder where things went wrong. Being neglectful means constantly forgetting or postponing responsibilities, believing you can do it later. But the more neglectful you become, the more it hurts. It's like fat building in your arteries, eventually causing a heart attack. You won't notice those cheeseburgers are hurting you until you drop and get rushed to the ER. In relationships, neglect is the ultimate killer. The romantic comedy hero who forgets to call their partner. Not realizing love is a full-time job. What could have been happily ever after becomes what happened to us. Personally, it's not about forgetting to shower. It's missed opportunities piling up, like skipping car maintenance until it stops running on a deserted freeway with no mechanic for 500 miles. Neglect sabotages your entire life. 10. Arrogance. Take pride and pump it with steroids. You get arrogance, the deadly sin that makes you think you're king of the world. You have opinions on everything because your views always matter. It's like putting a world's best expert sign on your forehead and insisting everyone listen to your grand theories. Arrogance doesn't just think it's great, it's convinced it's the greatest. Imagine someone so self-absorbed they'd sell sand in a desert, claiming their sand is the finest and most unparalleled on the market. The root is thinking you're superior and entitled to dismiss others, like showing up to a potluck with a 3-course gourmet meal, then insulting your cousin's mac and cheese. Arrogance thrives on believing you're not just better, but a masterpiece of perfection others should bow down to, even though you can't parallel park. It's self-love gone hilariously wrong. You narrate your own life like a blockbuster movie complete with dramatic music, feeling like the center of the universe when you're clearly just a tiny planet in the grand galaxy of humility. 11. Intolerance. That grumpy, overly strict school principal who can't handle any shenanigans. Intolerance is basically the no fun allowed sign for diverse thoughts and lifestyles. That guy at a party who hates people for putting raisins on macaroni salad. This sin acts like a bouncer at the club of life, only letting in people who fit its very specific idea of acceptable. Don't match its rigid criteria? You're out. The ultimate party pooper, showing up to every gathering with a clipboard and frown, making sure everyone follows particular rules. Intolerance is over the top, acting like a dictator of diversity, a reality show where the theme is everyone must be exactly like me. It doesn't just dislike people who are different, it has a PhD in judging, specializing in making life as dull as watching paint dry. This sin transforms every difference into a problem. Think of it as the Sherlock Holmes of negativity, always finding something to complain about. In the grand game of life, intolerance is that annoying kid insisting on following rules so strictly they forget to have any fun at all. 12. Resentment. The spice of life for those specializing in holding grudges. If you feel a burning sensation not caused by spicy food, you're grappling with resentment. It's a personal vendetta against the universe where every perceived injustice gets magnified into bigger drama. That friend who never lets you forget when you forgot their birthday, they keep a mental scrapbook of every misstep, carefully documenting every moment you let them down. A list longer than Santa's, filled with all your transgressions. Resentment is clunky old software that never updates, a virus infecting your emotional system, causing you to replay old arguments endlessly. Your mind makes a mountain out of an anthill, then schedules regular mountain climbing expeditions to revisit it. You hate someone for eating that one pizza slice 4 years ago and never let them forget. The biggest problem? Resentment makes you the life of the pity party, champion of the why me contest, always blaming everyone for small miseries. Holding on to it is like carrying emotional weights. Heavy, burdensome, likely to trip you up. A self-sabotage machine keeping you locked in frustration loops, never allowing you to move on from the one time your brother stepped on your toe when you were 10. So which sin surprised you most? Did you realize neglect is just as deadly as the famous 7? That arrogance is pride on steroids? Or that resentment keeps you imprisoned in your own grudges for decades? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to explore more about biblical topics, spiritual warfare, and the battle between virtue and vice, hit that subscribe button.